Hello, Angela. I'm doing my big interview on my phone because when I was doing it at Career Services, it only had my voice. It didn't have my body. So when I came home to do it, it only had my body and not my voice. So I decided to just go ahead and do it on my phone. You will still be able to hear the lady asking me the question, so it shouldn't be a problem with that. The one I chose was administrative assistant for work ethic. So I'm going to answer a few questions, and I will be uploading this video to my YouTube. It will be public, so you should not have a problem viewing this video. All right, so here we go.
Tell me about a time that you exceeded the boss's expectations.
When I was working for Fireman's Fund Insurance Company, it was a small group. We had a small group. It was me and four other people. We had one supervisor lead. The supervisor was sick, so he called in sick to work, and he ended up leaving. He ended up being gone for the full week. So when he was gone, everyone thought that they can just lollygag, not get their work done, take extensive long breaks without adhering to their schedules and lunch times and scheduled break times. So being that I was a team lead, I felt like it was my responsibility to take on that supervisor role while he was not there. I was not asked to do this, but I felt like just me being the good person that I am and wanted to get my work done regardless if I was being micromanaged or not. I would want to get my work done, and I would still stick to my schedule break and schedules. So when I noticed that the team was not doing what they were supposed to do, about 1 p.m. I had a small group meeting. I asked the team if they can just stick to their break times and let's get our work done as if our supervisor was there. Because even though he's not there, we still have other people around us, and we still have people that's watching us that will report back to him. So we need to show him that we're a good team and we can get our work done without him being here. So we need to get our work done. If they have any questions, they can ask me. If they're running behind on something, just let me know, and I'll take on the extra load at the end of the day. But going forward, we had to stick to our schedules, and we had to stick to our breaks and get our work done, because we still had quotas that we had to meet, and we still had a certain amount of login declines that we had to get into the system before the end of the day. So for the remainder of the week, I took on the supervisor role. If they had any questions, they asked me. If they wanted to take a different break time, they would ask if it's okay if they take their scheduled break at 2 o'clock rather than 1 o'clock or whatever it may be, and I would give them the okay to do so. And if any work did not get done, I would stay behind at the end of the day to make sure everything got done. So when our supervisor came back on Monday, he said that he heard about how good of a team that we were, that he was proud of us, and that he's glad that the workflow was coming in good, and he didn't have to worry about, people not being here and people not carrying their end of the stick. So then he took me aside, and he said he just wanted to give me a special thanks because he did hear about the good things that I did while he was gone, and he just wanted to thank me for taking on that role. And he wasn't expecting me to do that, but he glad that I did, because had I not did that, it would have been crazy, and we would have had a lot of bad things going around the office about us not being a good group. So I believe I did pretty good, and I exceeded that expectation.
Describe a situation in which you went above and beyond the call of duty.
When I was working at New York Life Insurance Company, we had to process checks. We had to input the certain amount of numbers, the amount of the checks into the system. So after a month, there was always a new group of people coming in. I was there for about 2 months, and then we had fairly new employees working there as well. It was the end of the day, and it's about 5 o'clock clocking out, got my purse on, I'm ready to head home, and I noticed that there is still another employee that's left behind doing some work. She was a fairly new employee, so I'm thinking that maybe she's having a little bit of problems. So I went over to her and I asked what was going on, if she needed any help with anything, and sure enough, she did. She was having problems with the Roomba software, trying to input the checks and get them all done before she headed out. Her end time was at 5 o'clock as well, but she still had 200 more checks to put into the system. So I decided to take on half of her load to help her to help her get done with everything so she can get home and I can get home. So I stayed behind, I helped her, and I also asked her if there was anything else that she needed help to do. I showed her an easier way to input the things into input the checks into the system, and I showed her how she could minimize each screen because we were using 2 screens. So I showed her how she can have each thing up on the screen and how she can just easily input something from one screen to the next. So she was happy that I stayed behind and did that, and we stayed behind for about 45 minutes. We did not get out the office until almost 6 o'clock, but we did get all the work done. I believe I went above and beyond because no other employee probably would have done that, and had anyone have done that, you probably would hear about it. I did not go around the office and brag about me staying behind to help someone and how late I stayed, not being on the clock, trying to get paid for that time. I did it completely off the clock, and I just wanted to help her out and show her an easier way to get things done. And she was grateful for that, and she thanked me all the time. And ever since then, she was always asking me questions if she had any questions about the software.
Give me an example of when you worked the hardest.
I would have to say for this last year, I've worked the hardest. I was working, I had a full-time job, and I was going to school full-time, and I'm a full-time mom. So it was pretty hard for me because I have homework to do, and I still have to help my children with their homework and still get enough sleep so I can function correctly at work the next day. I put my all into it. I wanted to really pass last semester, and going forward, I really want to get done. So I believe I put in my hardest effort into everything that I could to pass these classes and to still function the correct way at work and still give my children that attention that I needed. I'm very good at multitasking and taking on a heavy load at one time without letting it show in the work that I do, and my work the way I work at work, the way I handle things at work and deal with customers, and how I handle stress on the job. I handle everything pretty well, and that's all around the time I was working the hardest. So these are my answers, and let me know what you think. Thanks.